beginning, in order to know that yes, these are the participants which will be taking care of. Yes, good evening, Vinod. Good evening. Yes, good evening, Rajani. Good evening. So let's start the session. Fine. Today's topic or today's module will be module B, and the module B refers to your basics of economics. We will start with some basics of economics, move on to money supply. We will see what is the difference between fiscal and monetary policy, the very important topic or a very, very important chapter of this particular module. Plus, we'll also see the concept of GDP, NNP. Everything will be studied in this module. Core module, I would say, if you want to learn about the core economics. Okay. Yes. Good evening, Rajani. Yes, Nandini. The feeling is common among many aspirants. Prakash, hi, hello. Hi, Skylight, good evening. Okay. So we will try to make the session engaging, and not only this particular module, but upcoming modules also we will try and cover with the same enthusiasm. So let's get started. First of all, let's see what is there in module B, which we will be studying over a period of time. First of all, what is the name of this module? Economic concepts related to banking. This is the official name for the module B. Now, module B, when you will see the syllabus, it talks about the areas of economics pertaining to banking. But it does not include only the banking sector. It includes or it covers a comprehensive part of economics, starting from supply till demand. Now, these are only two words, but when you will cover this particular module, after that, you will realize the importance of these two words, supply and demand. Fine. So let's see. In unit number 12, we will see the fundamentals of economics, micro and macroeconomics, and the types of economies. A very small chapter indeed, and this is the agenda of today's class as well. Fundamentals of economics, we will study that what all basics are there when we talk about economics. What is the definition of economy or the economics? Economics is a major term, and economy per se, when we talk about a particular country, we tell like Indian economy. What is the difference between micro and macroeconomics? The words will tell you or provide you a hint. Micro means individual. Macro means overall, the broader picture. Then we'll see types of economies. What are the types of economies? Market economy, capitalist, socialist, mixed type of economy. All these things we will see here. Then unit number 13 will cover the supply and demand. Again, a smaller chapter, but from here you will get to know that what all entails when we talk about the prices and the quantity. Fine. What determines price? How the quantity is determined of a particular commodity. We'll see in greater detail. Next, a very, very important chapter which defines the money supply and inflation. Why I'm saying this chapter is important? Because it has this topic, that is inflation. And inflation, we will talk about the concepts in the upcoming chapters from unit number 15 till, you can say, unit number 18 or 19 also, if you know the concept of inflation. So this particular concept, you must remember, you must understand that what is the actual meaning of inflation. Price rise, yes, it is there, but sustained price rise will make a greater impact, and that's the definition of inflation. Theories of interest, we will see. Again, 15th unit is the first most important unit of this particular module. Here we will see various types of theories, various types of curves, LM curve, and so on. In 16th unit, unit number 16, a very small unit, we will talk about the business cycle. How one economy goes from zero till boom phase, then recession, then depression, and then again recovery. Fine. We will see all these things. Monetary and fiscal policy. What we will talk about here is the simple criteria that what all things in economy are being determined by the government and what all controllables are there which are being controlled by the RBI. So RBI will control the monetary policy and fiscal policy will be governed by the government of India. System of national accounts and GDP concepts. So this is the major topic or the major chapter, the bulkier one I would say, and full of concepts. Here your conceptual understanding really matters. Fine. So unit number 15, unit number 17, and then unit number 18. These are the three major units what IIBF will ask from. Okay. Then we have unit number 19, that is union budget. Here the revenue account, the capital account, all these things we will learn eventually. So today's focus area is this. Unit number 12, fundamentals of economics, microeconomics, macroeconomics, and types of economies. One more thing I want to tell all of you, since it is the first class, I want that everybody must make notes. Fine, you must make notes after the PDF of this particular session is being uploaded on your portal. First thing. Second, you must revise. You must revise on a daily basis. Fine. Today you are attending this session. Tomorrow morning, what should be your criteria? It must be to revise. So one revision in the morning, that is the daily revision, and the second revision must be there in this particular week only, that is on Sundays. 2 sessions of revision must be there from your side. Only then you must start solving the quizzes. Okay. All those quizzes which are there in the course you must solve after revising fully, because only then you will be able to interpret the questions. Fine. And then when you have solved the quizzes, add the mistakes in your notes. This is the process which you must follow along with the class. Apart from this process, you need not to do anything. Anything which you feel that you must do, just ignore it. Just see it as a wastage of time. This class plus your revision part plus the quiz, that is the only thing you want to crack this exam. Okay, so now let's see the agenda. Economics, we will see the intro part. Microeconomics, macroeconomics difference, fundamental question in economic organization, along with the market command and the mixed economies, the types of economies. First of all, what is economy? What is the meaning of economy, and from where we have derived the term economy? Okay, yes. So it is fairly an older term derived from a particular, you can say, portion of Greek language. Fine. Later Greek, you would say, not the pre you can say Greece period. The Greece, if you know certain history, we will not dwell into that. But yes, a Greek word formed by the 2, you can say, subparts of Greek language. One, the first word is oikos, means home. Second is nemein, that is management. Now you must be wondering that what is this home and management? How can we define economy, which is a very, very broad concept, using these words like home, management? Home here refers to the household, because earlier when the concept of economy came into picture, it was derived from the commodities, and commodities per se were used by the consumers, and consumers were residing where? At the local areas. Local areas refers to the home or the household. Management is a general word. Fine. So managing the household, managing the commodity, it will ultimately lead to the type of usage. A, you are using it brilliantly. You know how to manage your resources. B, You do not know how to manage the resources. Only two things can happen. If you are managing the resources very well, then you will see that there is no scarcity. Fine. Resources will sustain. Or B, where you do not know how to manage your resources, the household resources, then scarcity will be there. And the key word when we talk about the definition of economy or economics as a concept, you will see the key word here is scarcity. Why scarcity? Because management will only come into picture if there is some scarcity of resources. If there is no scarcity, if everything is going fine, why would government want to make an economic policy? That you must know. Fine. So scarcity, if there is a scarcity, then we will see the management, and then only the policy making will start. So oikos nemen is the basic or the fundamental start of the definition, or you can say usage of the word economy. Oikonomia. Fine, this was the Greek word. Oikonomia. From here, economy was derived. Okay, so economics, the definition, the basic way of defining economics starts from the household management. Definitions so will be given by the economists, but economics as a concept, how it developed from household management only. Okay, the keyword here is oikonomia, from where economy was derived. Okay, any doubt you can ask me. Srinivas Sarao, hello, hi, good evening. Now, why do we need to manage something? We just discussed now, management of your home or the household or the commodity management. Because resource is scarce. I just told you that if there is no scarcity, nothing will be managed. There is no requirement per se. So if there is a scarcity of resource, it will lead to what? Management. And ultimately, the economic policies will be developed. Okay. So factors for scarce resource. How you will determine that a particular resource is in scarcity? A, the production of that particular resource is low. Production levels are low. B, the consumption levels are very, very high. Or you can say they are not in line with the production. Or C, the distribution of the resources are not up to the mark. Like in today's era, if we talk about the e-commerce platform, if the delivery gets late by, let's say, 1 or 2 days, or during the big billion days sale, it gets delayed by 1 week also, then we have one sense of one feeling now that the particular mobile phone which I have ordered, it is in scarcity. It is not because of the production. Why it is scarce? Because of this particular distribution pattern, the delivery. Okay, so scarcity can be created by production, consumption levels, or the distribution levels as well. This is the thing which you must remember, because ultimately when we will jump on to money and supply, price and quantity, these are the 3 words which will be used there as well. Okay, so if you have any doubt here, you can just ask me. Okay, now let's jump on to the definitions. What are the definitions of economics? See, economics, just like other social sciences, it is more or less a mixture of many concepts. And the primary concept which must be there is the human or the humanitarian approach. But initially in economics, if you will read the initial texts, then there was no mention of the well-being of humans. Humans were seen as a part of the machinery which is creating wealth. Okay, and from there only the definition or the wealth definition came into picture. It was provided by Adam Smith. Fine, father of economics. Now, study of wealth, what does it means? According to Mr. Smith, wealth is the only thing which will determine that in which direction a country's progress will move. No human resource, no natural resource, nothing, only the wealth. If you will add the income of entire individuals who are residing in a country, you will get the wealth of nation. And that determines the economics. Do you think it's a holistic definition? No, it was not. That is why further many other economists came and they gave their own definition. But during that time, this was the most accepted definition. So economic benefit comes from actions of individuals. Actions are important, okay, but they are not talking about the humans per se, their well-being. Identified the efficiency of markets. Only the market was the criteria. In order to make profit, you only need to infuse wealth and it will ultimately create more wealth. Wealth creating wealth. That's it. So, considered as the father of modern economics, Mr. Adam Smith, the book, which is very, very important, or you will find the reference of this book in every, you can say, textbook of economy. The book's name is Enquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nation, commonly known as the Wealth of Nations. Okay, this was the complete name, Enquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nation, published back in 1776. Okay, this picture, obviously this is Mr. Smith. Okay, not an AI generated image for sure. This is the real, you can say, statue of Adam Smith in Scotland, because he was a Scottish economist. So one statue has been installed in Scotland. A very, I would say, yes, a very, very realistic image of Mr. Smith, because he was back then in 1770s, he was regarded as the only economist in the area of Europe. There were n number of economists, but in Europe, he is still the most regarded economist. Now, let's come to welfare definition. Now, you will see the keywords and you must focus on the keywords only. In all my classes, I only reiterate one thing, that if you want to revise, if you want to retain whatever is being told in the class, just focus on the keywords. Like in the last slide, what have you focused? Just tell me. Because we have new participants also. So I want to know that how you are interpreting. Only then I will be able to give you direction. How you guys are interpreting that in the last slide, the slide which told us something about Adam Smith, something about economics. What was the keyword? Anybody? Okay, Rajani is saying wealth. Raga Chandrika K is also saying wealth. Somebody who would like to differ? Scarcity. Jitendra, excellent. Scarcity. But was it in the last slide or last to last slide? Nandini is also saying scarcity, but I'm asking about the last slide. Scarcity is the keyword. It will remain there. But what about the slide where Adam Smith's picture, or you can say the monument of Adam Smith was there in Scotland? Father of economics, alternative resources. Okay. So the keyword here is wealth. Okay. Very, very simple, but yes, that is the only important thing, the first important thing which you must remember from that slide. Let me get back to the slide. See, here n number of things are written. But what is the most important part? It is the wealth definition, this one. Definitions are based on the keywords only. This is the wealth definition. That wealth is the sole criteria of defining a economy or the concept of economics. Likewise here, welfare is the criteria. Welfare of what? Welfare of the human being. Study of wealth, that is unmatchable. Fine, study of wealth must be there. Then only you will say that yes, talks of economics is going on. But when we talk about man, then the definition becomes welfare definition. And if we talk about man or human being or humankind or mankind, then in today's world, in today's economy, how we define this term? We define this term as development. Okay, development. And the latest, or you can say the so-called contemporary issue which is talking about development, solely about development, that is SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Fine. Okay, so welfare definition was given by Mr. Alfred Marshall. This is the gentleman, Alfred Marshall. Principles of Economics, a very, very important text which was written or contributed by Mr. Marshall. So wealth means, according to Mr. Marshall, wealth means any commodity which gives man satisfaction or utility or welfare. Satisfaction of human being or the mankind is also important. Fine. You cannot see the humans as mere a machinery for producing the wealth. No, their satisfaction must be there. And this word satisfaction, you will see n number of times when we will talk about demand and supply. Okay, so these chapters now starting from 12, 13, 14, these are precursor to building, or you can say the building blocks of your money and supply concept. Demand and supply, money supply, whatever you want to call it. Ultimate purpose or objective of economics is to promote welfare. Principles of Economics was the famous text by Mr. Alfred. Now, in the book, if somebody is reading book, although I do not recommend to read it in a holistic manner, although very well written book by Macmillan Publications, but I do not recommend the book. Why? Because it is lacking in some areas, like interlinkage is not there. Plus, the bulkiness of book makes it too hard to cover. So if somebody is reading the textbook, they will see that these things are written in very, very broader perspective. But do we need to understand all those things or read all those things? No. Here I am presenting before you only the crux and the relevant crux. Out of this, whatever the PDF I am providing you after the class, you need not to cover anything. Okay, beyond this, no need to cover anything else. Fine. Now we will come to one of the major definition of economics, as I started in initial 1 or 2 slides with the term that is scarcity. Now, scarcity definition is the most important definition and is considered to be the only definition of economics till date. Fine. It is regarded as science. Now, here in this definition, you will find 4 major components. This particular definition will be divided into 4 major components. Let me just read it and then I will tell you each and every component. Science, which studies human behavior as a relationship between the ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Fine. Raga Chandrika ke here the alternative uses is mentioned, not by Adam Smith. It was mentioned by Lionel Robbins. Science of choice, this is known as. Now, what are the components? First of all, when we talk about the scarcity definition, the first component is science. Because any social science, starting from political science, international relation, public administration, sociology, economics, anthropology, everything, every domain of social science more or less relates to the concept of sciences. So here the definition talks about science, that economics is a science. And what does it studies? It studies the human behavior. Human behavior. And this human behavior is nothing but the response to the market. The market which will ultimately create the market forces. Okay. As a relationship between ends and the scarce means. Scarce means. End and means. End and means. End means what? end is something which you want to attain, which you aspire for, which path you will follow to ensure that you reach the end, that path will be termed as the means. So science, human behavior, ends and means, and your alternative uses. These four will form in totality, they will form the definition of economics pertaining to the scarcity of resources given by Mr. Lionel Robbins. Okay? Fine, Raga. So, the theory of economic policy. From this particular book, you will see many economists or the economic advisors during the later 1800s. They started to pick up the concepts and include into the economic policy of various countries. Fine. So, Mr. Marshall and Robbins both were from UK, and yes, he was, no, that is not important. Okay, so let's analyze the definition and see what are the components involved here. First is wants are unlimited. Human beings, they have a particular demand, fine, and they are unlimited. They are infinite. That is the first theme of the definition of economics provided by Mr. Robbins. So, ends are what? Ends are the daily uses, the things which human beings use daily, like food, clothing, shelter. If somebody will offer you pizza and they say that, okay, you can have something more, then you will have some add-on also, na? On the pizza or the sides or the drinks. You will have a number of things. That is the only thing which is being highlighted here, that ends or the wants are infinite. You can have n number of things in your mind. If you have food, you will seek the beverage. If you have beverage, you will seek for or you will crave for the sweets. Okay. Economic activities are undertaken to satisfy the human wants. Mr. Marshall told that welfare is one of the component, or it is overlapping with the concept of wealth as well. But here, the satisfaction of human wants is of prime importance. Fine. Adam Smith told that only wealth is important. Mr. Marshall told that both are important. Here, what is being highlighted? The satisfaction of human needs. It is being highlighted. There is no limit to our wants, and one want is satisfied, the other will arise. You can have n number of examples, like I gave you the example of pizza. Second component or the second theme is the means to satisfy human wants are limited. Production is limited. You cannot have infinite production. Okay, your demands are infinite, but can we produce on a scale which is infinite? No, we cannot. If man has unlimited resource to satisfy them, there is no economic problem. Now see, in the first slide or the first concept which we studied after the economies was the scarcity. If there is no scarcity, do you think that there will be any problem? Now scarcity involves everything. Scarcity of wealth, scarcity of food items, scarcity of migration, scarcity of human resources, scarcity of your numbers, that is GDP, PPP, whatever number you want to define a particular economy with. Then scarcity of jobs, scarcity of health. If everything is being dealt with, everything is there in an unlimited form, do you think that any economy will suffer? No, the answer is clear no, but it is not a real thing. Mere shortage of supply does not make a commodity scarce. Now this is important to know. When we talk about demand and supply, demand and supply. Here, demand is being created by the consumers, supply is made by the manufacturing units. And when you see this one, that only if you see the shortage of supply is there, let's suppose supply is low, and that too of let's suppose eggs. Fine. Let's just say one example is there. Then do you think that if there is no scarcity of eggs, rotten eggs per se, or rotten food item, do you think that the demand will be in parallel with the supply? No. Simply stating, if a particular commodity is not in the form in which human being wants, it does not matter whether the supply is you can say more than the demand or it is lesser. Ultimate motive is that the demand should come with the satisfaction of human beings. Fine? Yes, Sharda. Fine. So there may be huge stocks of a commodity like wheat or coal in the world, yet it is considered to be scarce. Why? Because humans, the living beings, specifically human beings, they find satisfaction after consuming wheat or rice. Their tummy is full after eating these food grains, and they want to consume them on regular basis. That is why there is scarcity of these resources. If you say that the crops are being grown on seasonal variation, short-term crop, long-term crop, and the consumptions are also like that only. If let's assume one ideal scenario, that food grain, let's suppose wheat is grown, the whole process of cultivation takes what, 5 to 6 months approximately. A bit of stretch, but let's just assume it, 5 to 6 months. And the consumption, that is the market, that is the human beings, will feed themselves with that lot only. They are capable enough to adjust and feed themselves in whatever is being produced for 6 months only. And after 6 months, they will not be demanding any wheat. Then there will be a perfect balance between the supply and the demand. So no economic turmoil will happen when we talk about the agricultural sector, per se the wheat production. Okay. So if that is the scenario, then there is no need for any economic policy, or per se the concept of economic policy. Fine. So demand and supply, you will see or listen these two words more. Now you will listen them on regular basis. Earlier we were not discussing that much because module B pertains to these concepts only: demand, supply, consumption, production, GNP, GDP, then ISLM curve, everything. Fine. Now let's move on to your third theme of Mr. Robbins' definition of economics. Resources are not only limited but have alternative uses as well. Alternative uses. If wheat is being produced and human beings are just eating the wheat, not processing it and making wheat flour or biscuits, or for that matter any other you can say spaghetti. In durum wheat we have spaghetti also. So if there is no other use rather than using it in a processed form, we are just eating the wheat, then we can say that there is no alternative use of wheat. But is it true? No. So if a commodity could be put only to one use, no economic problem will be there. A piece of land can be put under paddy or sugarcane. So a particular field can have, let's say, sugarcane or paddy, and that particular patch of land, if it can sustain the whole area, do you think that there can be any problem? No, there won't be any problem. But the particular paddy crop or the sugarcane crop is not only produced to cater the needs of that particular area where it is being cultivated, but it is seen to be exported, it is seen to be moved to the mandis and to be sold beyond the state borders as well. We have to make choices. The choice factor, after alternative uses, you can have the choice factor as well. We need to make use of our limited resources to satisfy our unlimited wants. Now this is the solution which Mr. Robbins wanted to provide. These limited sources can be put to alternative uses. So every human being must decide which wants he or she will satisfy now and which can be postponed. Okay. So why analysis of this definition was important? So that you can differentiate between the ideal scenario and the actual scenarios. Prakash, scarcity means deficiency. Something is less in a lesser number. One is optimum number. Then we have scarcity. See here. One is optimum. That okay, I want 100 units of something and I am getting 100 units of, let's say, wheat or whatever you want. Then there is lesser or the scarce resource, which is suppose 90 units. I want 100 units, but I am getting only 90 units. Then this particular resource will become scarce because of the lack of 10 units. Okay. Skylight FMGC, product or day-to-day needs, which is also lack of supply might lead to scarcity. Yes, definitely. This demand and supply, the market forces as we know them, they are based on this concept only, concept of scarcity. If you will link the concept of scarcity with demand and supply, you will come to this conclusion only. Excellent job, Skylight. Nice correlation, I would say. Okay. Now, if you have any doubt, you can ask me, because we have completed one topic. That is the definition. That's the only thing which we need to know when it comes to definition. The most important definition is by Mr. Robbins, which talks about alternative uses and economics as sciences. And sciences of what? Sciences of human behavior. Only these keywords you need to know. Okay, fine. So now let's move on to more concepts like macro and microeconomics. How do we define day-to-day activities when we talk about economics? How are day-to-day activities are aligned to the concept of economics, and how the, you can say, comprehensive part of economics is aligned to overall economics? Let me explain. When we talk about day-to-day activities, the individuals, when we talk about individuals, the concepts which are more or less directly related with the individuals, then we are talking about microeconomics. And when the concepts of economics are described based on a particular region, and most commonly used region is a nation or country. When we talk about a particular nation or country's activities pertaining to the economy of that country, we are talking about the macroeconomics. Individuals, microeconomics. Both of them clubbed together is equal to the modern economics. Till now, whatever we have seen, the definitions, more or less, the economists of today classify those definitions in the, you can say, in the domain of classical economics. Fine. So because the economists like Adam Smith, Robbins, they are falling under the category of classical economists, that is why the whole theories which they have proposed, they come under the classical theories. But in today's era or the modern era, we talk about macro and microeconomics, and all those concepts which are here in macroeconomics as well as microeconomics will be clubbed together and they will form my modern economics. If I talk singularly about macroeconomics, then do macroeconomics is equal to modern economics only? The macroeconomics, no, it is not equal to the modern economics. Can I solely say that microeconomics is equal to modern economics? No. These two concepts, these two domains must come together to form the modern economics. Fine. Now let's see what is the definition of macroeconomics. As I told you, when we are talking about the overall picture of a particular region or nation or country or an economy, then we are talking about a concept of macroeconomics. Macro means broader. This idea was started by Mr. Keynes. Mr. Keynes is one of the most celebrated economists in today's world also. Now he started this concept of macroeconomics, and when you will read various textbooks, the major definition or the major bifurcation of economics into macro and micro is being considered to be started by him only. So in 1936, Mr. Keynes, J.M. Keynes, published a book titled General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. Now he is talking about employment also, ultimately inflation also, and then all the concepts will get derived. So he talked about employment, interest and money, developed an analysis of what causes business cycle, the topsy-turvy approach of the economy, starting from the medial till the recovery phase, with alternating spells of high inflation and high unemployment. So unemployment will also be there, inflation will also be there, and ultimately recovery will happen. That we will be seeing in the unit number 16, specifically business cycles. So he was the one who related the level of unemployment with level of inflation. That you must know. Fine. So macroeconomics definition is, it studies the aggregated indicators such as GDP, unemployment, the prices indexes, and so on. Inflation is indirectly studied by macroeconomics. You can say that study of inflation, not directly, but indirectly, it talks about inflation as well because of the proponent, Mr. Keynes. Now, what kind of questions can we answer using this particular concept? These questions will help us to interpret more easily that what exactly is the concept of macroeconomics. Overall, though, we know if you talk about GDP, if you're talking about in a broader sense of the unemployment rate, or for that matter, the price indexes, the price rise. Okay. If a question is there that how total investment and consumption are determined, how you will determine this? How this level, or you can say a particular level of consumption is being determined, that can be answered using macroeconomics. Now how? See, total investment is nothing but a byproduct of supply. If you talk about a supplier, what he or she will do? First of all, they will study the demand, and demand will come from where? From the consumption levels. Okay, consumers will create a demand. After that, only suppliers will start manufacturing whatever is being demanded. And for manufacturing, what is required? Investment. So how the total investment and consumption are determined? They are interrelated. This interrelation will be studied using macroeconomics. How the central banks manage money and interest rates. So you can say, when we talk about the fiscal policy, then it is not a part of your macroeconomics, but the monetary policy is. How? Because when we talk about the interest rates, or you can say the bank rate, then they are directly related to this particular concept of macroeconomics. There are certain stipulations by Reserve Bank of India, or for that matter, bank rate plus CRR, SLR, all these terms, these reserves which are being obligated by the Reserve Bank of India over the commercial banks, that you need to keep such types of reserve in case there is something bad which is happening in the economy is going down, the economy is slipping down, NPA is rising, then you can use these reserves. So how central bank manages money and interest rates, that is also a phenomena studied under the concept of macroeconomics. What causes international financial crisis? Now, international financial crisis can happen. It can happen in two ways, majorly two ways. One, the credit bubble, which is being created, and credit bubble is nothing but your financial system. Something is developing in the financial system. And second, it is the pandemic, like what happened in COVID-19 or wars. So what causes this international financial crisis? International financial crisis are what? The global financial crisis 2008, Asian financial crisis 1994, 95, 96, something like that. So all these crises can also be studied using these indicators. Fine. Why do we need an indicator like GDP, like unemployment, like price rise? So that we can analyze in which direction the economy is moving. And these indicators will be clubbed together and form a part of macroeconomics. Fine. Now, what is microeconomics? Microeconomics, as the word suggests, we talk about the individual agents. Price and quantity. This price and quantity more or less defines the demand supply. Demand supply, when we will see that chapter, will only focus on P and Q in the graphs. So microeconomics primarily focuses on the actions of individual agents such as firms and consumers and how their behavior determines the price and quantities in specific markets. It is concerned with decisions and behavior of individual entities, households, markets, firms, examines how decisions affect the supply and demand for goods and services. So the keyword here will be the individual along with the demand and supply. Fine. Individual refers to market, firm, or you can say individual person as well. Now, mechanisms used to allocate the resources. There are certain mechanisms using which we will allocate the resources. Now, allocation of resources. Why do we need that allocation? That is an important point which we have already studied. Because once you will allocate a particular resource, you can manage that resource. And why management is required? So that there is no scarcity of resource. Fine. So all these things are interlinked. So basically there are two mechanisms via which the forces, or you can say the resources, are being managed or allocated. One is government, another is market. Third one, which is relatively a newer concept, it is the mix of both government and your market forces, or collaboration as well. Collaboration of government and market. Let's see. When we talk about market economy or the capitalist economy, we are talking only about profit maximization. We do not talk about social welfare. Okay. Social welfare, if it is a byproduct of this particular capitalist economy, then it is fine. But per se, in the economic policy of a market economy, it is not mentioned. Okay. Only talk is profit maximization. That you must know. That is the keyword. Individual and private firms make the major decision about the production and consumption. Production and consumption. Demand and supply. These are the words which we will be using. I'm reiterating it again and again so that you become accustomed. Firms produce the commodities that yield the highest profit by the techniques which are least costly. How you will maximize your profit? If the investment cost is lesser than what you are selling. Fine. Selling price of a commodity is more than the price of production. Consumption is determined by individuals' decision about how to spend the wages and incomes generated by their labor and property ownership for whom. So consumption basically is being determined by the individuals only, because they do not have any specific help from the government policies. So what are the examples? USA, Then we have Singapore economy also. They are running more or less on this particular model, that is capitalist model. Now, when I say more or less, one thing you must understand that in today's world, these are only theories, okay? These are only the mechanisms. These are good to read in theories, in books. But in actual world, there is nothing like only government, only market economy. No. Today's world, today's era is filled with economies which are mixed in nature. Fine. Partly government and partly private. So the extreme case of market economy in which the government does not interfere at all. At all. It is known as laissez-faire economy. Laissez-faire means without any obstruction from the government. Government is being redundant in that particular country or economy. Okay, so when we talk about capitalist economy or the market economy, what is the keyword which you must know? It is the profit maximization. Decisions are being taken by the corporates. Fine. Socialist or the command economy. Socialist or the command economy, in this particular mechanism, who will be the lead player? It will be the government. It will be the government. No involvement of private. So these are the extreme cases or the extreme, you can say, types. Fine. Extreme, that only government or only capitalist forces will be there. So government makes all the major decision about production and distribution. Government owns most of the means of production. It is the employer of most workers, and it decides how the output of society is to be divided among different goods and services. Cuba, North Korea, Vietnam, they are some examples of your socialist economies. Now this output thing, this output, if this particular output is being only determined by the government, then do you think that a particular economy will become a developed economy? Answer is clear, no, because you need investment, and if the only income of government is from the revenue part, from the taxes, or for that matter surcharges or all those things, then keep one thing in mind, that you cannot progress as a nation because you do not have any investment per se, the private investment. So these are not long lasting models. What lies in today's world is the mixed economy. Majorly all the economies are mixed economies with elements of both market and command economies. You must remember these things, that what are the command economies, what do you mean by the economy run by the government, or what is the socialist economy. So they are the same things. Then what is a capitalist economy or economy driven by the corporates. Right? These are the words which you must remember, because sometimes the IBF can ask you not using the government's name but command economy. So you must know each and every word. So these are the mixed economy has the maximum number of economies in its kitty. The government passes laws that regulate economic life, produce goods and services, and control pollution. And number of things government will do. Whatever you are studying here, you can directly relate with the case of our country, that is India. Indian Parliament will regulate everything. Fine. And who are the people sitting in the Parliament? They are from the elected channels only, elected by people only, but they are regulated or they are influenced by the government forces, not the market forces. It is also a debate now that the government of India is being influenced by the market or the corporates, but more or less the laws are being created or initiated by the government forces only. India, right from the beginning of its economic planning, has been a mixed economy where public sector, private and joint sector coexist and complement each other. Public-private partnership. N number of projects in India, starting from your infrastructure till collaboration in foreign countries. Everything is being determined by this PPP model. Okay, so this was it from my side. I hope that everybody, one second, Yes, everybody learned something new today because the chapter was new, module was new, and now it's your turn to tell me what are the answers of these questions so that I can know that how far you have understood the things. For all of you who are new to the classes, I will not be speaking for let's say 30 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds, so that you can read the question and answer. Okay? Already we have answers. So Vijay has already answered. Fine. A very simple question, I would say, not that difficult. So Vijay is saying C, Sharda with C. We have Prakash with B. So till now we have not reached the consensus. B and C. Now the major replies are in the form of C with Bhavani, Raga Chandrika, K, Ravi Krishna, Amita Prasad, MVP Ramarao, Rajni. Jitendra is with B. Okay. Robbins and Adam Smith. See, here only the keywords are asked. Wealth and wealth including man. Wealth was defined by whom? Mr. Adam Smith, founder. Wealth including man was defined by Mr. Marshall. If here the study of scarcity was mentioned or the scarcity definition was mentioned, then the answer would be Robbins. Scarcity refers to Mr. Robbins. Okay. So Prakasha ji ke, Ramakant, Parekar, Vinod. Yes, everybody is right. Correct option is option C. Excellent job. Well done, guys. What about this question? What about this question? Again, a very simple question. Because this chapter altogether is very, very simple. Just an introductory chapter to glide you through the path of upcoming chapters, I would say. Okay, Prakash, fine. Economics and macroeconomics. Micro as well as macro. You need to select the correct statement. Okay, so Skylight is saying A. Fine. That's a quick reply, Skylight. Good. The speed was very, very good. Fast, I would say, lightning fast. Micro and macro. When you're talking about micro, the keyword was what? Individual. In macro, the keyword was what? Region or the nation. Okay, so we have more answers. Vijay with D. None of these. Okay. Sanjay with A. Sharda with also D. Vinod. Amita Prasad, Prakash, Raga Chandrika K. Everybody is saying D. None of these. A very rare option, I would say. Sitting in the examination hall, do you think that we would go with option D? And none of these are correct. Or we'll revisit these options A, B, C. Prakash, Raga Chandrika K. Okay. Fine. And what about others? I see many participants now. Only around 10-12 participants are replying. What about others? I know it's your first class, but still show some enthusiasm in the chat box. Fine. Everybody must reply. If you have any doubt in the question, you can ask me n number of times. But from your side, what I want is participation. Okay. So Jitendra is saying A. Fine. Microeconomists study aggregated indicators. such as GDP, unemployment rates, and price indexes. Okay, so we have Mr. Reddy with D, Haridayal Yadav with A. Okay, so what about B and C? Nobody's answering B or C. Huh? Nobody. Only A or D is there. See, guys, A says that microeconomists study the aggregated indicators. The statement, after studying these two words, reading these two words, it automatically is wrong. Aggregated indicators are something which will be done on a comprehensive basis. Fine. They are part of what? Study under the macroeconomics. So macroeconomists will study these indicators for a particular country. GDP is a concept which we read in newspaper. Do you feel that this particular concept is for one individual? No, na. It is for a country. Unemployment rate. Although these rates are being, the data for these unemployment rates are being extracted from individual data. But per se, this whole particular unemployment rates is a concept of a country, a region. Fine. Similarly, the price indexes. So A is wrong. No, country. Yes. Yes, Sharda. Very well done. Everybody, kudos to you, because I was not expecting that you guys will pick option D, and indeed it is the right option. Well done. What about this? Again, a very simple question. A very, very simple question, I would say. We are talking about Prince Charles, or Charles in general. Charles Babbage, you can also say. But no assumptions must be made. There is one disclaimer from our end. Now, this is a question which everybody must reply. I know that the time is 10:04 p.m. and we were in the office from the morning. But come on, guys, one question, last one. You can do it. So we have answers. Rajani, Mr. Mukesh Kumar, Sharda, Amita Prasad, Ravi Krishna, Prakasha GK, Skylight. Keep on pouring your answer, guys. That was a huddle, I would say. So speedily you guys answered in sync. That was impressive. Yempali Chandrakant Reddy, D. Nice name. Jitendra Ramakant, D. Yes, yes, yes. Come on, guys. What about others? Are you okay with the list participants saying the option D as the right answer? Indeed, it is a nice name, Yampali. Vinod, Sanjay. Okay. Yes, everybody is right. Option D is the right answer. Very well done. Prakash. Yes, yes, yes. So, this was it for this particular session. And it is very surprising that we have completed one unit in this class. Okay. So, this was a very short unit. That's why we were able to complete this in one class. Concepts were limited. Comparison could have been made of various concepts. That made things to go much more in the way we wanted. Yes, yes, Prakash. Unit number 12. All the concepts are covered. That's it. Okay. And one more thing. When you will study after this particular session, as I told you that download the PDF and start reading that, you must keep one or two things in your mind. One, what is the definition we are talking about? I mean, the keyword in the definition. Yes, Prakash, I also was surprised. So the first thing, that the definition of economy, what kind of definition is being asked? one economist, that is Adam Smith, is talking about which type of definition of economics. Number one. Number two, you must remember the difference, the key words, the key differences between micro and macroeconomics, the indicators you must remember. Third, what type of economy governs which type of nation. Fine. So these three things, these three concepts, if you know, you are good to go. And if we talk about the PYQs, in PYQs only these concepts are asked. Difference between micro, macro, who gave which definition. This scarcity definition has been asked twice, so it becomes important, Mr. Robbins. Along with that, IIBF has also asked the command economy. What do we mean by command economy? It is nothing but the economy which is being run solely or majorly by the government. Okay, yes, sure, Raga Chandrika. Let me explain. So, Charles lives in an economy where the firms produce the commodities. Now, firms are producing some commodities. Okay. That yield the highest profit. Now, if we have not read the concept of market economy or capitalist economy with a keyword, then we must read the remaining statement also. But since we know the keyword here for market or capitalist economy is what? Profit maximization. You can directly answer. Right? That is why I always tell you, use the keywords. Remember the keywords, because in the exam, by not reading these extra 3.5-4 lines, you will save time. Okay. Commodities that yield highest profit by the techniques of production that are least costly. Consumption is determined by individual's decision about how to spend the wages and incomes. Just we saw in the last slide, we just saw that government is not regulating anything. Individuals are making effort that on the basis of my salary, where should I invest? What should I consume? How much should I consume? Generated by their fine. Okay, Raga. Prakash, which option? These, the previous one, I think. These options? Microeconomists, so I think that it's okay. Aggregated indicators pertain to one region or country studied by macroeconomist. Okay, which option? This one? This one, na? Or previous one? Okay, not an issue, Raga. Keep on asking such questions. Prakash, this question, na? Yes, okay. So A, that is market economy. The forces of economy are what? They are being governed by the market. Why market? Because demand and supply refers to a market economy. The forces of demand and supply ultimately lead to market economy. Consumers and the suppliers are involved. No government intervention per se is there. Market economy. Fine. Capitalist economy, profit maximization. I as a supplier want to earn maximum profit, to gain from whatever I am supplying. Okay, nobody is regulating me. I can fix whatever price I want to fix for a particular commodity. I am not concerned about the societal welfare. Capitalist economy. Together, these two will form what? It will form the forces, that is market force, not the government force. The market will run on the basis of the corporates. Corporates will run the economy, not the government. Government will run where? Here, in the socialist economy. Okay? Fine, Prakash. Okay. So any other doubt? Any other doubt, guys? So for all of you who are having this as their first class, this is my contact. You can just 1 second. Yes, you can just drop a message, and I will add you in the WhatsApp group. Okay, just drop me a message like hi JAIIB May 2025, and I'll add you in the group. Okay, Rajni, thank you for attending the session, being attentive. Good night. Good night. Bye bye. Okay. Good night, Prakasha GK. Charles, yes, Prakash, Charles. Specifically, I picked up this name, Charles, because if I would have picked one Indian name, it will not, fit in this particular description. Okay. Good night, Jitendra. Good night, Sharda. Amita Prasad. Thank you for attending the session. Good night. Yes. It's just for the example, XYZ person living in a particular economy or in a country where such types of trade activities are happening. IIBF will ask you such type of smaller case studies, I would say. Okay. You can consider this as one case only. Okay. So tomorrow we'll be meeting at same time. Our timing will remain the same from 9 p.m. till at least 10 p.m. And afterwards, you can say after 10 p.m. it depends on the interaction. Whatever queries you have, you can ask me, and whatever the time will lapse during that time, we'll include in the class only. Okay, so any other doubt, guys, you can ask me. How was the session? You can tell me that also. How was the session? Because we have entered into economics now. Earlier, though, in module 8, we were talking about your Indian economy, its overview, and some numbers were there. Here, numbers will be there, but only in some limited chapters. Okay, Yampali, thank you for confirming the same. Yes, Prakash, actually, charts and all these things I will add according to the concepts. Okay, rather than just adding the charts and making no sense, it will not benefit you also. Today I included one or two charts because it will help you interpreting in a very quick manner. Otherwise, definitions we must read line by line only. That will make more sense. But be rest assured, there will be n number of images, charts, wherever it is required. Because I also want to inculcate that thing so that we can learn quickly. Fine, it will save much more time. We will also try to include some flow charts. Fine. Yes. No doubt in that. I also enjoy when I teach with charts. Fine, but they are very limited. The usage of the charts are very limited. The scope is very limited. But I will ensure to include more if the need is there. Good night, Vinod. Good night. Yes, Raga Chandrika. Thank you for confirming. Fine. Okay, guys. So, any other doubt, or shall we call it a night and meet tomorrow? Okay. Good night, Ramakant. Good night. Good night. Yes, I think this first session is there on YouTube as well. So, any doubt from the YouTube audience? If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Any doubt? I am not able to see any replies. Yampali, yes. PYQ on chapter wise basis. No, yes. One thing you pointed out in the right time, I would say. What we plan to do here is take a test, and that too a surprise test. In that particular test, you will have all the relevant questions. One day I will come to the class and say that, okay, today is the test, and there will be approximately 30 to 40 questions in one class. And pertaining to PYQ, if you ask me, these lectures are being designed based on the PYQs only. The topics which are being reoccurring, we lay special emphasis on those topics apart from the other topics. So you need not to worry about that. The design of these lectures, it is solely based on the PYQs and the expected questions, the expected areas from where questions can come. No doubt. Okay, Raga Chandrika. Okay. Hindi. If you can see other lectures. Yes, we have a dedicated batch for Hindi also. This is the English medium batch, na Prakash? Specifically for English medium guys. We have dedicated batch for bilingual audience. So if you want lectures only in Hindi, then though it's not present right now. Only in Hindi. Done. Yampali, done. Point noted. Yeah, currently I teach IE IFS, and when you talk about other subjects, so in promotional exam, I take rural banking. Yes, so I teach in that vertical also of promotional exam, from let's say clerical cadre to officers cadre, then officer scale 1 to scale 2. Okay. Yes, rural banking I teach in Hindi only, in bilingual, not in Hindi. And on YouTube also, the series which we run in the name of, I think, Winners series. Champion series, not Winners, Champion series. There I cover the topic in bilingual as well as English language. And I will be teaching module A and B for IE IFS to the paid students in Hindi, for the Hindi in bilingual batch, you can say. Not only Hindi, English Hindi mix. Okay, okay, fine. Not an issue, Prakash. Thank you for ending the session. Bye bye. Okay, guys. So good night, Prakash. Good night, everybody. We'll meet in the next session, which will be held tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m., and we'll extend till your queries are resolved. Good night. Bye bye, Raga Chandrika K. Good night.